How did it go, guys?
Well, my students were still on their phones.
And I didn't really notice them speaking any more than they usually do.
Do you think they got it?
I really couldn't tell you.
I wonder what we did wrong.
To the literature!
Previous video, we told you all about 3 mobile language learning applications that students and teachers can use in the classroom. Now, we'd like to give you all an update regarding the use of these apps at school and some of the things that you need to keep in mind if you choose to use these apps in your classroom.
Research tells us that many teachers reluctantly tolerate or altogether prohibit mobile device learning in the classroom. This trend continues even though educators will acknowledge the potential benefits from using mobile technology. Students have even identified that language learning on their mobile devices is made accessible because of the small chunks of content on the relatively small screen. It's less overwhelming for them. The use of this technology in the classroom allows young learners to create their own learning environment and meaningful language tasks, as well as self-regulate their language learning process. This is important in the Ontario classroom as the Growing Success document expects teachers to encourage students' development in learning skills and work habits of self-regulation, where an expectation is that learners assess and critically reflect upon their own strengths and monitor their own progress. Furthermore, if teachers want to encourage language learning not only in the classroom and recognize that learning occurs outside of the classroom too, the use of mobile technology encourages this learning. The mobile devices minimize the separation between in-class and out-of-class
learning. These points all sound wonderful, but there certainly are some cautions that we should take into consideration when using these apps in our classroom. The literature warns us that although these apps are certainly advanced, they should be used to support the development of listening and speaking, but should not be used to replace teacher instruction.
So another pedagogical issue that should certainly be addressed is that teachers must preview the applications first to ensure that the tasks we're asking of our students are suited to the capability of the devices. Now, it appears that many activities that were originally suited for pen and paper have essentially been transferred to the mobile devices exactly how they were, and they don't actually take advantage of the interactive abilities of these devices. So we really need to ask if these activities are truly any better than what we are already doing, or how we can modify them to make them effective. Now, it's certainly important for educators to preview all sections of the apps and to select which portions they believe are suitable for the classroom. It's also important for us to remember that in addition to teachers' attitudes affecting the capabilities of these applications, students' attitudes will make a very big difference too. The literature identifies that because mobile devices are primarily used for personal and social purposes, as opposed to work and study, it's possible that some learners may not adapt to using their devices for learning. So it's important for the teacher to provide explicit instruction on how to use the device for learning instead of assuming that the learner will automatically do so.
What if teachers themselves are not comfortable using these apps or are not comfortable using technology? It may be necessary for teachers to be trained on how to use the mobile devices for language learning. Lastly, and very importantly, teachers need to be aware of language learner differences when thinking about including mobile learning technology in the classroom. Teachers need to be aware of and plan for different learning styles as well as differences in comfort levels between learning in public versus private space. When considering using these apps, teachers must consider students' differing physical abilities such as vision and dexterity and whether or not these apps are compatible with their students.
Also, ensuring that students who do not have their own devices or compatible devices, those with older versions or low storage, teachers must make sure that they are not excluded from the learning experience and that schools have devices for these students to participate with. We know that learning a new language is already very difficult and challenging for many students. But hopefully, with the integration of mobile technology in the classroom, learning a new language will become more meaningful and effective in the long term.
Now that we have this insight and have considered it more carefully, I think we should try it again.
That's a great idea, and this time I'll use the app as an addition to my class.
And we can still encourage language learning multimodally.
Yay!